you're playing under the ocean, you're playing on cobblestone streets in Boston, or you're playing just by passing through in my studio. But the cool thing about CsoundMeta and the app that strongbear has developed really is that we can play remotely and you can join each other. So right now I'm in Boston, but strongbear is in Ohio. And in a minute, we're going to start jamming just a little bit for you. We'll talk a little while we're jamming and just mess around, show you what's possible a little. And we premiered this program and this tool in Vienna in November, Vienna, Austria. And, strongbear was jamming with us on stage from the United States. We've been doing rehearsals where students have been playing in Berkeley rehearsal spaces from Hong Kong, LA, New York, and locally all at the same time. So what's cool about CsoundMeta is once you all have the program, you're all going to be able to jam with each other or jam with me or just enjoy playing and composing on your own, because the environment that we've built is not just use what we've created, but it's a tool for letting you do sound design, sound mapping, and compose on your own. Strongbear, do you have any points to make now that I've left out, or any feelings about what we're going to cover today, or
Yeah.
about the program? How about you telling people a few moments, and then we'll make some sound, and then we'll
Right.
answer questions, and then play a piece.
So I would like to touch on like why CsoundMeta, how we started, where's the idea come from. So we want to play music, but we also want to see music as a tangible object that we like manipulate. We use our senses like touches, morph it. So those sounds not only like come from our ears, but from our like visual other senses as well. So yeah, and how we get started. So I think it was a dream from Dr. B like since 1979. Right? I came late, so my background was like in electrical engineering. Then I do computer science way before like I got into music. Yeah. Like I don't know, like life pushes me around somehow, and I ended up at Berkeley. Like started with like playing the guitar, but then I switched over to EPD, and I felt like home because at EPD, all my knowledge about like telecommunication, like electronic, like processing and computer music, they all merged together. And I love technology. Like I've been using like VR and AI stuff like that, like way before making this. So I was dreaming about like a setup, like a system where I could pose, like and the system is so compact that I can carry around like anywhere. I can make music like on the beach, like at the airport or any places. That also that what I wanted to do. And then luckily I found Dr. B, and we share the same reason, and where we get started like early last year, 2024. We've been doing this for over a year, like a year and a half already. So a lot has been going on. Like, a lot has changed. We have put up tutorial. We did some live streaming sessions. So like before this one, I've been doing some live streaming sessions, but like soloing on my own to working on this project, because the idea is to enjoy the journey than the result. The result is fantastic, but like we want to show like how we get there. So I think documenting here. So I convinced Dr. B to join me on this one. So, and I'm glad that we ended up here. Like this is our first live streaming session together, like collaboration, and we will have more and more of these to come.
Yes, our plan is to, bring in some of our friends who are master Csounders, to bring in some of our colleagues who are Unity experts and VR experts, and have them share some of their insight. The important thing is that you're going to be able to learn, maybe on my side, some of the sort of sound design and sound composition side with Csound. And then with strongbear, and even with our Discord channel, you're going to be able to get a lot of help on using Csound in Unity. Now, I will just tell one more thing, and then it's just time to make music, so you see why it's worth joining us and staying here and being here. Some of you know Csound. Some of you have been in my Csound classes. Some of you have studied or played around with Csound. It's been around since 1986, and even before that, its baby brother, Music 11, which turned into Csound, was developed by Barry Verco at MIT in like the 70s, late 70s. And Csound is open source, universal software synthesis language and signal processing tool. It's a foundational tool that's still being developed by people like Rory Walsh, Victor Lazzarini, Stephen Yee, John Fitch, and others. So there's an international community that have been contributing to the 2,000 modules or opcodes that make up the Csound language. So you're going to find that we're making a lot of neat sounds, and there is incredible possibilities for real-time signal processing and all kinds of software development under the hood. Csound's everywhere. In fact, I have a Kia EV6 car, and all the sounds in the car were made with Csound. They give away a free Csound synthesizer. It's in the new Coke Fizz product. It's powering that synthesizer that Coca-Cola is giving away. It's in lots of plugins. It's in VCV Rack. It's running on the Bella. It's running on Daisies. FPGA versions, there's web audio versions that Michael Goggins has worked on. So you're going to meet a lot of these people. You're going to discover that it's incredible, powerful synthesizer, and it's free. It's open source. And the whole history of computer music is in this language. It's a foundational and fundamental tool. And the fact that Rory built an API to put it into Unity, and that you can even use his fantastic Cabbage program. We're going to go through all this over the next bunch of weeks. But his fantastic Cabbage program to prototype instruments, make them run as a plugin, make them run in VCV Rack, or make them run in Unity, is going to be a really exciting thing for all of you to discover. But even if you're not a sound designer or a DSP nerd, Csound is just this powerful, wonderful synthesizer and effects processor that in our CsoundMeta app, you're going to be able to just use all of the things we've built, and we're going to show you that today. In fact, currently, our CsoundMeta app hosts over 250 Csound compositions. Now, we're not playing them as audio files. This isn't Spotify. Everything that we're going to do today is going to be synthesized and rendered in real time and controlled in real time in the Quest, in Unity. So, because we're actually running copies of Csound for all of the instruments that we're playing. Maybe, Strongbear, it would be fun to just jam for a second and let people hear some things and show them how we would get going and play together, how I would host a session. You would join me, and then we could jam with some of the Csound instruments and play them and show you what's it going to look like when you've got it running on yours. I will only tell you this as up front. there is no comparison when you're watching Csound Unity on a screen, which is pretty cool. You'll see these beautiful worlds that we create with Blockade Labs AI that creates immersive skyboxes, and they're out of this world, literally. And they are game changers. But when you have your Quest on and you're playing with the sounds in these worlds, under the stars and under the seas, well, it's like night and day. And also, you've got 3D spatial audio inside the headset. So when you're moving the sounds around, they're panning, they're flying all over. So a lot of that you won't quite get from the screencast, but you'll get an idea. And hopefully it'll make you all want to come back on Thursday and Friday and get it all installed on your Quest, okay? So let's get started. I mean, here's my headset.
Ooh.
And I don't know if, I will become the host. Now, I'm not sharing my screen right now. Oh, there you are. And Bear is joining. So here's me, and you see my pointers and these sticks that I'm playing or holding in my hands. I have my Quests in my hands, my controllers. Strongbear, have you joined me? It looks like you might
Yeah,
have.
I'm here. I'm looking at you. You're using the purple mallet. I've just opened up the menu.
Good. I've opened up the menu and I'm going to select a movement.
And
I'm going to select Be Taught Groove. Can you see that?
yeah, I can see the menu. You are selecting Dot Groove and objects. Our objects.
And we should be hearing a little bit of a rhythm. I'm pulling up a haiku by Ian McCurdy, and I'm putting it in front of me. It's kind of this green diamond. And it's kind of drumming a little bit or playing a marimba. Are you hearing that?
I'm hearing that, and I hope everyone is you.
I'll pull up another McCurdy haiku. I'm going to bring in a piece by John Chowning. By the way, when I say I'm bringing these in, I am launching a copy of Csound for each instrument that's cloning and rendering a text file to produce these pieces. John Chowning is the father of FM synthesis, and here is one of his masterpieces called Stria that's now being rendered in Csound in the background, but we've added a drum track, something that kind of connects maybe with my Berkeley heritage, right?
Right.
I'm going to grab another instrument, a little orb here, and I don't know if you're seeing it. I'm going to hand it off to you, Strongbear. It's called Sand.
Right,
It plays low notes.
Sand.
You grab it. Why don't you play a few notes on it?
The sound sand, and the preset that we're using is factory.
Yeah. I'm going to open up my choir instrument. We're going to hear these monks chanting. I might throw some of these drum grooves around and let you trigger the choir. And what you can see, I hope, on the screen is as Strongbear is looking around and playing these instruments, he's triggering them with these mallets, right? He's triggering them with these little hammers. They almost look like marimba sticks. And these objects, these circles, are called sound orbs. Right? You're maybe hearing the groove and a little of the choir.
So if you'll notice, it go like a low drone sound.
You guys were not really hearing anything.
Oh, you're not hearing anything?
Very little, yeah.
Okay.
Just a little of the high-end click or something, and I heard one tap on
Oh, you should be hearing a heck of a lot of music right now.
yeah, nothing really.
Thank you, Dave, for telling us that. And
Yeah, sure. It was
what
in
we'll
the,
do is I'll quit all and maybe just bring up one sound. and let strongbear fix that audio a little for us.
Right, let's just play one sound. So now it's completely silent.
Here's percussive.
Yeah, percussive. Or like let's play a classic with a drum groove. So that's pretty obvious. Let me open it up. So
Sure.
and I'm gonna go to classic, and then select like a
Yeah,
TSH.
you know what, guys? We're getting a headphone leak. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
You're
just
only
getting
hearing
some
from my
headphone
mic
leak.
or something.
Yeah, and I noticed Chen Lu said the same thing.
Good.
So,
Thank you.
right.
So let that generative piece run, strongbear, while you fix it, and then we'll start again with a little bit of the explanation. Thank you, David. Glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Is it?
I'm hearing it in my headset, but
Is it playing for the live stream? Oh,
you.
so
That's right.
oh, I mean like David, are you watching the live stream or are you listening to the Zoom? Because I don't think you can hear it from Zoom.
I tried to listen to both, and I think on both it's picking up from the Quest speaker, I believe.
You should be getting it on the live stream, is what we're saying, not on the Zoom.
Yeah, on the live stream, the music should be clear and signal should be strong.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, try to go to the live stream and maybe, even say good. Well, I like hearing from you on the Zoom too, but the live stream should be clean audio.
I did go on the live stream and rewind it to see if I could hear, and I couldn't hear it on the YouTube live stream, correct?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's something wrong because like I could see the. So let me share my screen for a little bit here so people will see I'm talking about.
Yep.
So here's the desktop audio. And we're not talking, and then we should see like the music coming up.
It's quite
Yeah,
small.
yeah. You know what? Actually, let me go directly to the live stream and see if the sound's coming through the live stream. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, thanks for hanging in there while
Yeah.
we're having these growing pains.
Okay. So I put the headset down, and just doesn't seem like the music's coming through speakers. The problem.
Okay.
So I have been doing same kind of setting, but like without Zoom. Now we have Zoom. I don't know that if that's the cause of the problem or what. So
Well, we could.
okay, yep. Now I just switched my sound output to something else and switch back. Now I could hear from the speakers. So I hope that if now you go to the live stream, you should be able to hear the music. Yeah, now
So this is your Discord
now
channel, or
I could hear. Oh, is that a cease
For
from the speakers? So I hope that if now you go to the all right, everybody. Now do you hear music from the live stream? Okay, someone's playing here. Bethany, hi Bethany. Rachel, on the live stream music is very low. Yeah, now it's okay. Yep. So Rachel said now it's okay.
Yeah, Tyler says it's on the live stream too. And you can still hear us talking to each other on the live stream as well as the music, I hope.
Yeah, like small professors. Yes.
Well, I won't repeat everything I said before, but we might come back and do an intro again at the very end as an outro. Does that sound good? And even now, what we can do is start again with a little bit of a jam, or even build on this jam right now that Strongbear and I are working with.
And let me double check our Discord channel. Yeah, I think that's the correct link in our Discord channels. Please join our Discord channel because we're gonna do more announcement, like updates on the software. Yep. Cool.
So let's collect our breath, get back to, leave that up. That's good. And let's just stay here. We'll put our headsets on. I'm Dr. Richard Boulanger. Welcome to CsoundMeta, day 1. And now it looks like we're getting audio of us performing or jamming a little bit on our quests. And this is a Quest 3. And Bear is playing a Quest Pro. It runs on pretty much any of the available Quest versions, 2, 3, 3S, and Pro. And we're running Csound in the metaverse. What we're going to do is jump right into a little bit of a jam, and we're going to talk to you while we're playing. So my headset is back on. I'm hosting this. I'm playing in Boston, or right outside of Boston, at Boulanger Labs, my home studio. And Strongbear is in Ohio and is joining me. I can see his controllers. I can see him. And I can hear him in my headset, what he does to the sounds, etc. So let's close this selection box. Strongbear, I think I'm back up. Resume. Yeah, I am. Can you close that, or do we need to restart?
Close it.
What do you think?
Maybe stop host and then start the session.
Okay.
So we start fresh.
It looks like I can't do that right now. Oh, there we go. I think I have to quit. I'll try resume, but the menu is not coming up. So let's quit.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start effortless again.
I'm gonna join you here.
1 second. I haven't started yet. Okay, I am the host.
I got your IP address.
Good.
Automatically connect from me already. Yeah.
Okay, we're on. Okay, so now I'm going to pick again something, or maybe not. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just start from scratch. I hope you can see that in front of us, we each have these sets of mallets. Mine are kind of taupe, and
Mine is yellow.
Theirs are yellow mustard or whatever, and or light green, lime green. Now, the point is, I'm shaking my mallets in Boston, and Strongbear is shaking his in Ohio. I've just brought up an instrument called pewter. It's this orb. It's silver because it won't make a sound, but as I grab it and stretch it and then strike it, it will produce a sound. Now, I'm not hearing pewter right now. Strongbear, why don't you strike it? Are you hearing it?
Oh, maybe try.
There it is. Okay. That one's working. So let me try to strike the sine cloud. Yep, good. Okay. So, we're bringing up these orbs that we can play. This is a generative Csound low bell with reverb instrument. The larger the orb is, the louder it is. And when we move our mallets through the orb, as strongbear you can do even with me while I'm describing what I'm describing, you kind of change a little bit of the timbre of that object. Let's leave the orb making its music, strongbear, and turn it into a wanderer. I'll let you do that.
Okay.
It's a wanderer now, and he's just going to throw it around this mountaintop that we're standing on, or I will. By the way, I grabbed it from him and just threw it. He didn't. So we're playing together. Strongbear, why don't you bring up another object, just a random one. Let's see what we have. Green. This is a rising up noise. And now this one I'm going to hit a few times. I'll make it a little louder. All right. Now I hope everyone can hear this over the stream. And now, strongbear, why don't you connect a couple of patch cords to this and even try to permutate it a little more. So we have an opportunity here. There you go. Listen. I'll make the bells a little softer. So you see what he's doing is as he moves his hands from left to right, up to down, as he pushes buttons on his controllers, he can re-trigger the sound, he can shape it. We'll talk a little more about that in a minute. Let's disconnect your patch cords and maybe bring up another sound. But wait, before you do, let me change the world we're in. I've brought up my menu, and let me pick a cobblestone street in London. Maybe we'd prefer to play in this world. Okay, strongbear, let's mute this sound or quiet it. There we go. And why don't you bring up another instrument randomly? This again is that bell verb, so we'll maybe delete that or pick up another one. There we go. Here's blue. Now, one of my colleagues happened to join the stream, Claire Lim, also known as Daltrick. Claire's amazing. And Claire, this is one of Claire's favorite Csound instruments, blue. So, if I open it up and trigger it, and now what you can hear with this instrument is as I move my mallet through it, we're changing its controls, if you will. It's kind of squiggling a little or whatever. That's because the instrument has all of these capabilities. As I push my A button while I'm connected with patch cords, I can move the sound farther away to my left or right. I can pan the sound. I can, basically trigger the sound remotely. So even if it's flying all over me like it is now, going a little crazy, I can tell the instrument to, right? I'll change my world and pick a castle at night. Let me look around. Or you should look around, Bear, because I think you are the one who get to show them the world.
Yeah, people are seeing through my view.
Okay, yeah, so Bear is kind of the camera person right now.
Yeah. I'm a cameraman.
So let's pick, now sounds can be selected from a menu. Now I don't know if you can see my menu as I brought it up. Why don't you do the demos there, because you'll be looking at it, Bear, and they can read the words
Okay.
on your screen. Yeah.
So
Go ahead, take it away. Explain how we would select specific sounds.
okay, so there are a couple ways we can select a sound by shortcuts we've been doing, like example keys like X, Y, A, B, stuff like that. But you can open it up from the menu from here. So the left-hand menu, you open it up. Selection button right here. So it's like an instrument, and from or Wanderer Classics. I've recorded X sampler. What should we hear, Doctor?
Well, Well, just choose one of the orbs, but now choose it, and then let's look at what the selections might be. So
Okay.
grab an orb,
Orb.
and now you have our complete category, our library, which has a lot of instruments in it. So even I've taken over from strongbear. Hopefully you can all see the screen. And so I'm telling it, let's pick a drum. And let's pick a beat with less pops. Now I've picked the sound, and to hear it, I need to make it louder. I need to make it larger. So it's almost like a little gurgling, like a bubbling cauldron. It's really not a drum track, unless you're a fan of Audecke. And but it's appropriate for the castle, I think, because perhaps witches would be working on a potion. And so let me get rid of this sine cloud. And we're just listening to the little drum sound. But we could pick totally different variation of this, right? You're hearing a little bit of a kick drum, etc. Let's go back. Let's change this to a different instrument. Let's pick maybe one of the sampler instruments like F looper, and in fact have it play almost like a gamelan. Now all of these are presets, factory presets that I've saved or that we've created. We'll show you how we make those in a minute. And to play an instrument, you strike through it with one of your mallet heads to select it or move it away from you or pan it or grab it away from strongbear like I just did by accident. What you do is you can like push in on the grip and then point at it and send it off onto the roof of a building or send it up into the stars or bring it right in front of you where you can then play it. And you're hearing, I hope, strongbear change very much the sound of this drum by moving his mallets through it. So you see, it's a kind of sound toy or a sound explorer's dream. And in fact, right now we're both working on the same sound. I'm making it more metallic, and he's pushing it away, and I'm squiggling it so we can hand off sounds from anywhere in the world. By the way, if we like this drum, I can clone it, right? So, boom. So guess what? Now I have a drum for strongbear, and I have one of these for me. Right? So you're seeing these little orbs that appear above the object that let us go into an edit mode or a clone mode, or we can delete them, or we can even connect them with patch cords to a whole library of Csound effects. Just for the fun of it, strongbear, why don't you show them? I'm going to get rid of all of these. Why don't you show everyone a couple of the audio effect instruments and talk through them from the microphone in your Quest headset?
Of course. So I could cough like just like that. Now you can hear it's processing my voice. Đừng ngờ đã quên đi những người bóng lạnh lùng. Yes, something like that. And we could blur.
Now this is doing real-time phase vocoding and spectral blurring of live audio in Csound, running a text file and allowing you to reshape it and control it. And why don't you say a few words and speak a few words?
Hello everyone. Blur Factory.
Blur Factory, Blur for 2.
So why don't you bring up one of the shimmer reverbs as well simultaneously? We're building it. Yeah, there you go.
Or like dramatically, dramatic sound.
Woo.
Clearer.
So pitch shifting, blurring, and again, all of these sounds can be edited. There you go. Bring up shimmer reverb. I think I might have selected it for you. There you go.
Yep, super verb.
I just brought in some monks. They're singing in the castle. I hope you don't mind.
In the castle.
Bear, why don't you join them? Sing along. Uh-oh. I think I got rid of it.
You're muted. So that's a means right here, right?
Yeah. There you go. Okay. We have a huge library of effects. We have a huge library of instruments. What I'd like to do now, that we've shown you a few things, and I'm deleting all of these instruments now, and I'm going to go into pass-through mode so I can see my screen and see what you're seeing.
You see, looking at my, like through this headset. Here's my room.
So you can rehearse, you can play with people, you can see the actual spaces you're rehearsing in, and my controllers are in Bear's room too, as you see. So what we want to do now for all of you, and thank you for being here, is I'd actually like to play a piece of music that we've composed. We haven't quite shown you how you compose yet, but we'll come back to it. Now that you know a little bit of what we're doing, how we're triggering the sounds, how we're rendering the sounds, how we have presets or can make them, what you need to realize is that we've also structured this environment so that you can create not only presets, you can create palettes, little small orbs that circle around like a preset bank that circle around each orb and allow you to randomly or sequentially change to those presets. But then you can save these as movements, and then as movements to determine how many orbs are out and how long the orbs play and whether they're triggering by themselves or whatever. You can also then structure compositions on a timeline. And we'll show you all that in a minute. But what I thought would be cool to show you first is a composition. And you're going to see that on the timeline, we're able to put in text. We're able to put in, structure the kind of crossfading from one movement to another, structure what presets appear, what worlds appear. And so this is a 3-movement composition. It lasts 10 minutes. This is a version I put together for a seminar we did at Berkeley a little while ago that a number of faculty were able to attend and play. And Strongbear joined me from Ohio and performed and played this version of the piece. So we're going to play for you Csound Dreams in the Metaverse. And you'll see the first movement is a little more tranquil. The second movement is a little more mysterious and tribal. And then the third movement is a little more chaotic and apocalyptic. And it ends hopefully with a bit of a ray of hope. But that's a little overview. We're not going to talk now. We're actually just going to perform the piece. So I hope that you'll enjoy what you're hearing. I hope you're all listening on the stream where the sound is a little better. And right now, I will open up my menu, choose a composition, and choose Vienna Betot. And let it start, and away we go. Okay? There you go. Hello, hello, hello.
On the move.
So it takes us through into a little pass-through mode at the end so that we could actually put the orbs out into the hands of the audience and place them and have all of them appear on the screen when we do a performance. So that's a little bit of a piece. And there's the real end. And so the text is also a part of the preset objects that we can create in the app. And let me go to pass-through mode again. And encourage strongbear maybe to show you just for a second, or we might even answer a few questions now or take a minute to answer and talk a little about what's going on or what maybe we were doing as we were performing. I think what you probably noticed before we go to a little bit of a Q&A is that the piece progressed through these various presets of or collections of objects that would appear on the screen. Some of them were generative and were able to play certain ambiances, and some of them were triggered, and some of them were actual Csound compositions that were rendering and playing to create a section or a gesture. And so we were able to essentially add all kinds of elements to the piece over time. And so that's a little bit of what, is and was going on in it. Now, to be inside and actually in a slightly bigger space, because for this screencast, Bear and I are situated close to each other, that on the screen, but also in the virtual space, our shadows kept kind of appearing so we wouldn't bump into each other on stage, but also it meant that sometimes the image would kind of disappear because we were overlapping, almost like what's going on with this green screen effect now, that sometimes parts of me disappear or reappear. And so in a concert hall, more of it is projected, and we have more space to kind of play and grab our own objects and work in our own area in the virtual immersive environment. But I'm thinking, that's a little of what we were doing or how it was composed. In another session, we'll really talk more about the kind of composition process. But I think it would be nice if strongbear, we might take a few questions, first of all, so we know what is confusing you or inspiring you, I hope, or interesting you. And then, and the answer to all your questions is yes. No. Can it do that? Yes. But we're very interested in your thoughts. And I do want strongbear to explain a little bit more, because he's broadcasting the shared screen. I'm not right now. It would be nice if he explained a little more of what the timeline looks like to make that composition that we just played. And so let's take a few questions, and we can even open up the audio. You can unmute yourself if you're joining me in Zoom and ask the question live. But if you're asking a question via the live stream, strongbear will answer some of those too. So you were just hearing my 10-minute version, 3 movements of Csound Dreams in the Metaverse that was premiered in Vienna at the International Csound Conference this November. And we actually had a group of 5 or 6 of my students performing on stage. And huge screens, lots of loudspeakers and subwoofers. It was a black box theater. It was really pretty remarkable. So now you're getting kind of the small iPhone version in some sense. But maybe you have questions. So are there any questions? We're just waiting in case you have a question. But if not, strongbear will show you what it looks like to have structured, what the structure of that piece looks like. Maybe strongbear has a little to say about the piece too.
Yeah. Want to ask, like, what was the most interesting moment for you? Like playing the composition just now.
For me, well, honestly, strongbear, because it's a little different. This is the first time we've done it when we're screencasting. I'm hoping that I'm looking at the worlds that we're in myself. And I'm imagining that you are too, but I can't see what you're looking at. You know what I mean? We're not projecting, I'm seeing my view of the world. So I'm hoping you made a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like we both play the piece, but like depending on where we're looking at, is like kind of we're looking at a different, maybe different story, right? Because we are surrounded in 360, and at like if you look up, look down, look to the right, look to the left, the scenes like are different. So like for me, some of the moments that was interesting is when we were looking at the like the blue building on the like planet is look like futuristic, and there's a sound like is like we are ready to like have a aerospace or like a UFO start to fly. It's very interesting.
A little of my thinking when composing and trying to make a kind of story that made sense sonically as well as visually had something to do with that either missiles or whatever were being launched from some Mars base or whatever, and so there was a little bit of that idea, but that there were still kind of planets where there was some kind of refuge and hope as we were destroying ours. But it is like you said, it's for everyone's story. I kind of like in the second movement when we're looking at this giant maze on the ground, and in come these really interesting sounds of it's like someone's eating plants or destroying, I don't know, terraforming. And I love that sound in that moment. It's really, well, in some ways it scares me. And then to kind of look down and then kind of spin around and notice, oh wait, there's this cathedral or temple that's carved into a cliff somewhere. And again, all of these worlds were designed with an AI, amazing AI by Blockade Labs. And so I would sit down and start a little image with a template and say, I want this, I want a world, and I want it with cliffs and canyons, or I want to be underwater. So even in the end there are places where we're in kind of underwater habitats, and so and things are destroyed even there. You see, it's kind of like we have cities in the future underwater, and so and we see the destruction happening even there. That part for me is great, and I don't know, there's room. What's always interested me as a composer, just as a little side note, and we'll get more into this maybe in other sessions because we're just trying to get you into the possibilities here. But what's always interested me is, I'm a classically trained composer, so I've written string quartets and piano sonatas and things like this and orchestral pieces, the whole bit. but I've always been inspired by this idea of kind of constrained randomness. So we might even call it procedural audio or generative composition or whatever. And so it's this idea that even though I've kind of made the composition and I know what worlds we're going to go into and I know what mood I'm trying to create with the sounds that I've collected, I love when we're playing together because you start focusing on a sound that I hadn't focused on, and it kind of changes the mood or my interpretation of the piece or of the scene. And well, all of you know that in life. You know, I can say the same thing and it can send a very different message. I love you, or I love you. You know, I mean, it's like, I love you, you know, love you. So the bottom line is those were essentially the same words, but maybe you got a little, and maybe from my body too, but you got a whole different message. And so the piece for me is, I love the composition more and more, but every time we play it, it inspires me in different places and different ways.
And
So that is also part of my dream, that we're able to, you know, we buy records, we listen to records, we DJs remix records, but imagine if you could have a bunch of compositions that you change or play or reshape or remix or contribute to or collaborate in, that have a structure, that still have a framework, that kind of creates general moods, but it's kind of like those, I guess, those storybooks where you create your own endings or your own adventure or whatever, but not exactly. But some of that satisfaction that all of you who are playing with me, all of you who come on Thursday and Friday and we install the app onto your quests, well, you know, you're going to be able to change all of the stories, make and share your own compositions with me, with us, with each other. And also, we're adding many more worlds that we've created from Blockade Labs for you to just change the scene as well. So that was a long answer to your question about what's my favorite part.
yeah,
I'll tell you what my favorite part is, Strong Bear. It's playing with you. And here's part of why.
oh, thank you.
Strong Bear knows the instruments. He knows the sounds because we've been messing with them so long. So when my friend and colleague David Doms, who's joined us, or Art Hunkins, who's been doing Csound with me forever, and some of Art's pieces and sounds are now in the metaverse too. So Art can play with his own pieces and throw some of my sounds on top when he installs this on his Quest. Well, the bottom line is, when you start, if you see green, or you see blue, or you see taupe, and these are some of the instruments from my Trapped and Convert piece of 1979 that we're still using, well, you're not going to right away know what they sound like or what they'll do. But since Strongbear and I have been playing for so long, in fact, there are two other people who know the sounds better than anyone, and those are Strongbear's two daughters. Both of them are beta testers. How old are they now, Strongbear?
Yeah, 12 and 7.
12 and 7. And they know my music better than anyone, and they know these sounds better than anyone. They'll be jamming with us at the International Csound Conference in our workshops and a little bit on stage too. And, you know, so the fact that Strongbear knows the sounds means that when he sees green or taupe or rust, he kind of has an idea, oh, wait, let me get that. Let me do something with that. I know that one's going to... And so, you know, I think hopefully all of you are going to like just discovering the sounds too, you know, and we're going to show you in a minute how you can even make your own or design them your own too.
Right. Being able to create your own sound and then assign your own controllers or own movement, that's really helpful. Express yourself when you play. And I love playing the piece, and every time we play is a different story. Like, yeah, I don't know how many times we play. Like, I lost count, but like about at least 10 times already, right?
Yeah.
every
Well,
time.
like I said, I love playing with you because you know it so well. And there are 2 or 3 other students who we've been collaborating with, Susan and Bethany especially, who were there at the premiere in Vienna. And they know the piece very, very well too. And it's so nice when the 4 of us or even more are playing, because it's not like we're telling the same story, but we're listening and touching things in the same way. And now we can touch sound. I mean, that's my dream. My dream in 1979, when I wrote this piece, Trapped in Convert, at the MIT Media Lab with Barry Verco, and spent hours, I would hear a sound that, and I would say, boy, there was long before there were any of these Marvel characters and glove controls and all of this power gloves and all of that. I was just thinking, what could I do? And I think I described this to Strongbear in some of our early meetings, and he came back the next week and said, here, watch. And I was like, woo. And the best part was when Strongbear brought me, even back, one of my first instruments that he had put in an orb and was running in Unity, in an immersive world. And it was making sounds that it had never made before. Now, I've been playing with these instruments since 1979. And Strongbear says, yeah, that's blue. And I'm like, that's not blue. And he's like, no, watch. And so finally, I get my hands on it. I turn it around. I get on the backside. I put my hand through it. I pull a little bit, and oh, there's blue. But what Strongbear had done by connecting all these controls to it was allow me to, turn it into something totally different. And so even all the sounds that I've been making in Csound for 40 years or whatever, they're all new again. They're all different. And they're all different because of these controls. Now, what I'd like to do, we have a little time. We don't have a lot of time left for this first session. I want you to know we're going to teach you all how to play and do all kinds of things and design sounds. But what I'd like Strongbear to do right now is just show you 2 more things before we're done today. 1, Strongbear, I'd love you to open up and show them the timeline of the piece we just played and how they could, and where the objects are and how you can start from a certain section if you're trying to rehearse and refine the piece. And then I would love you to show them, and we won't teach how to do that yet, but just show them how cool it is that you have this world around you where you can kind of drop in these objects and compose with them. But then I would love you to show them how you might modify, and edit an instrument, and then how you might assign controllers to one. So maybe if you showed them those couple of things, and I just jump in like I always do and interrupt a little while you're doing it, it would be really nice to at least open that possibility up to all of you and maybe inspire you to even more want to come back on Thursday and Friday, get things installed. Thursday, installation day. Maybe Friday, hey, it doesn't, how do I get it to do that day? So, but Strongbear, what do you say? Can you want to show that right now?
Yeah, sounds good. So let's get back, and I think that we do the same. You're a host, joining you, then we can both working on that, explaining to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here still. I'm back in, and I think I'm. Do you want me to stop host and start host again, or what do you want me to do?
I think we're good because we're in the same session, so we don't need to do.
Good. I think we're still live. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yep. Dr. B, please open that session again. Oh, we are in still in this piece, right? So what I want to do is.
What I would want you to do is maybe go to compositions. I'll open the piece again, and then I'll show the timeline. So here's the list of pieces. I don't know if you can show it. I don't know if you're sharing.
Right, people are. Let me switch thing. All right. So now people are looking at your menu.
Get out of pass through. Okay. I'm calling up the menu. I'm picking a composition. I'm picking Vienna Betot as a composition again. And this is how it started, with this text introducing us. And then it started, bringing up movement 1, which I call forest streams. Now, some of the sounds are playing and we're not even touching them. But I'm going to, in setup, tell it to show me the timeline. And so now what you see on the screen, and strongbear, why don't you take it from here? Explain what they're seeing. Maybe you can pause the timeline, bring it closer to you, do whatever you need, because you're the one who's really looking at it and broadcasting it. So take it away.
All right. So what you're looking at here is the timeline. It's just like when we compose, when making music in Ableton or any other DAW, you could look at these like tracks, but like in a different way. Let me bring it closer. You could actually, like, because I'm sitting and right in front of the camera, so I cannot move around, but like rather than sitting at the same place, what you're looking at here is the top row is like an anchor where I can wrap and can move the timeline. At the top is like a transport, like you can pause, and you have a clock right here. Now it's saying like 1 minute and 22, 23, 24 seconds. You can restart the whole composition. Down here in the timeline, you see these green orb, like it's started to turn green, which indicate where we are in the composition. So each of these like 10 seconds apart. We are right here at 1:30. Oh, is it playing? I think it's paused. So
I paused it so that you could explain more and we wouldn't be so distracted by the music.
So the beauty of this is like we can collaborate, we can do multiplayer. So while I was explaining, Dr. B was hitting like this pause button. That's why we stop at 1:30 mark. So now if I, Dr. B, could you play it again?
Sure, I'll start it.
Yeah, so now it's play. You see everything keep going. We are at 1:30 mark. Now switch over to 1:40. So at the bottom track right here, with the colorful orbs, those are worlds, which mean the virtual world. We are in like a cloud virtual world, but like in a second, like when it turned into 2:10, you will see it's changed to a new world right here. Just wait a couple of seconds, and it's now 9:10. As you can see, it's switched to a new world. So basically, that bottom is like the world's changing. The second track.
Video editor, in a way. There's your video sequencer on the bottom row, is how I think of it.
Yeah, exactly, like a video editing software. So the bottom one is the video. The second line is like the audio, and each orb right here is what we call a movement. A movement is like a set of instruments that we selected beforehand.
It's a collection.
Yeah, a collection
of orbs and wanderers and classics and effects. So each movement can be one thing or 20 things or 100 things. I'll show you, and before we end, we'll bring up a jam session that just has a bunch of things waiting to be used, but they're not mixed, they're not up in the mixer. And so I've created movements specifically for jamming and things like that. But these are me deciding, okay, where we are now at this moment in time, I want rust and cloud and pans, and I want all of these things at these volume levels to be available for playing or to be auto playing on their own.
Yep.
Continue.
So and the next track up here is like the text, like a narrative for the composition. So like, for example, could you jump this section, or I could do that? So like I just immediately jump to this. Yeah, we are jumping to this point in time, which is like 3:30. Then it shows up the text. I could show another demo where we go over here, which is the movement 3. click it right there, and you see
So
the,
now we're in the, drums, military industrial complex, lightning,
right.
right? So this is the beginning of this world.
So, yep. So you can jump to any point in time here, and then you can change the composition by dragging these orbs around, put it in a different place, like moving the world like to a different place. So, and also change the texts. Yeah, that's
So that's a little
basically
bit
it.
of how I make the piece, right? Let's stop the piece. Let's get rid of everything. And let's just show you what a movement looks like for a second. And then we'll show you what a palette looks like. So
Right.
I'm going to go back to setup. I'm going to turn off the timeline. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just choose a movement. And so let's say the movement I'm going to choose is this thing called, let's see what I have in the selection. A lot of movements, a lot of experiments. Let's see, maybe this one, it says 2 crackle bells. So this is a movement. I'm in pass-through mode, I think. Let's go to see what it is. So we're underwater in an underwater city, or on some planet, and yeah, we're on a planet, and it's brought up some of the instruments like Rust, and some of them are generative, some of them are. Here they are. Let's get rid of these. 1, 2. So now it's not playing on its own. Every instrument that's still left is waiting for us to trigger it.
Nice.
Strongbear, why don't you trigger Rust for a second?
Okay, so for example, Rust. Yeah, that's Rust. And Sizzle. Because Rust has a different preset. So that's one preset.
Rust, as you see, is a single instrument. But let's go over and look at this Rust factory here, and you see all the little orbiting planets around it? This is what we call a palette. These are our presets. So when I want to structure a composition for my students or colleagues, I might want to create palettes like this that allow them to randomly or sequentially choose related presets. They're kind of flavors of Rust. So I'm going to get rid of well, I'll leave it there, it won't matter. But I'm going to ask you, Strongbear, now to play this Rust palette. And you could trigger one of them, like just Rust wave.
So as you can see now, it's like factory mid-wave.
And every time he plays it, it'll pick a different pitch. Hit it again. Maybe not.
It's the Rust, but like if I choose a different different preset. Oh, here we have a bunch of preset that like orbit around.
I'll pick low theme for you. I just picked it. Now hit it. Hit it again. Oh, every time a different melody. Go again. Boom. Again. Boom. Boom. Let's add the meat. Well, you know what we're going to do? Stay right there, Strongbear. I want to clone this thing. So clone it for me, will you please?
Yeah.
Bring up the tools. Hit clone.
Yep. Now it's splitting into 2.
Okay, so we have 2 of them, so that means you and I can make a little duet with these mid-themes. So hold on, you put yours there. Let's not bump into each other. Stop it from roaming. Okay, so you play this one on the left, I guess, and I'll play the one on the right. Now. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Too big.
we're a little close.
Let me make it smaller.
Yeah, please do. Okay. Okay, I'm going to choose another preset here. Medium theme. You play that one. Keep going. Keep going. This is my counterpoint class at the Boulanger Conservatory of Music. We're doing sound design counterpoint. This would be the second semester class. Right? And so I could pick any of these.
For some reason it's popping on my.
Okay. Well, yeah, someone's got their mic on, sadly.
I killed.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
But there you go.
On your end, it sounds good.
Oh, it sounds great on my end. So you want to quit or kill all? Hang on. There they go. And see if you can bring up a palette again or a movement.
I think my
Yep.
running out of battery or something. My right hand controller.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think my batteries may have run out. My controller. Okay, well, yeah, strongbear, and it's sounding clean for you right now? Yes?
Not sure because my right hand is not. Also, I cannot like zoom it, make it bigger, sound louder.
Let's quit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to quit out of the app for a second, and we'll just, kind of talk for a few minutes and end a little bit, and maybe again answer a few questions and tell a little bit about the coming session and a little bit about. We might even end with a little bit of a groovy jam. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So. First of all, strongbear wants to tell you about our Discord server.
Yep. So we've just created a Discord channel with the hope that we can gather people who are interested in the CsoundMeta, in making instruments in VR or sound. And we'll use that Discord channel for like announcement about our updates, about our plan, about our live streaming sessions, just like this one, and like about future performance or jamming session in person. For example, in June we'll have a like ICMC coming up conference up in. So I think have a communication channel like Discord will be helpful. Like some other channel like a forum is good, like website is good, but I think Discord where people can message, I think is the best way to communicate and get engaged.
And our hope is that at the the International Computer Music Conference, it's the 50th year, that some of you will bring your quests, some of you will jam with us, as you saw in the announcement that I sent to some of you, and we'll be posting more of them. They'll be posting announcements about this on the ICMC website. This is a huge international conference, and Berkeley is co-hosting, the Berkeley BOCO, Boston Conservatory Days, are June 11 and 12, and we're going to have workshops, jam sessions. We're going to jam in a nightclub. We're going to be playing performances and playing in the keynote with doing live audio processing, showing you some of those live features. Even in the next few weeks, we're going to start showing you more features that we've added most recently to the app itself. So please join our Discord server. You have a link for that. Maybe even Bear will share a link again in the chat of the Zoom that we're doing, but also he'll be able to share the link with you, I think, on the screencast, just for those of you who just joined and aren't looking at your email. Join Discord. Secondly, think about coming or telling your friends about this screencast, which we'll be editing a little bit and posting on our links to on the Discord channel. And then also we will be doing a live stream on Thursday and Friday from 12 to 2 where we set you up, where we give you the software, where we install it with you. That's going to be really fun. And it means, and if you don't own a Quest yet, time to buy one. So you can get them everywhere. Best Buy has a deal on them. Quest 3S is wonderful. Quest 3 is wonderful. Quest 3 is really beautiful, but it's a few $100s more. The Quest 3S is great. Both of them have great pass-through. Quest 3 pass-through, you can be programming your computer, reading your iPhone while you're wearing the headset. The clarity in there, and most of the time today, you might have noticed I had my glasses on. Fits over your glasses beautifully. I'm a huge fan of the Quest 3. It's the absolute best, but the 3S is amazing and it's hundreds of dollars less, has great color pass-through, and so we'll be bringing along a bunch of these to the Computer Music Conference, but you have time even between now and Friday, if you don't own one already, to get one. And if you do own one, then of course I hope you'll be joining us on those days and setting yourself up so that it runs. And even if you don't own one by Friday, you could come, see the process, and you will have the video to watch, which will step you through it, that you can watch after that too. What I thought we might, well, we'll end with a little jam. We'll go out with a jam that I prepared for you that's kind of groovy and has a lot of vocal effects. And so Strongbear is going to be singing, chanting, rapping, speaking, telling his wife what he would like for lunch, telling the children they need to clean the room, whatever. He's going to be just going full dad, full musician, full rapper, which sort of bringing the whole world into it in a minute with our effects as we end. He had no idea I was going to say that. Strongbear, you might have some other closing thoughts that you want to share with everyone, and maybe there are some questions or other things that those of you who are on the stream might have for us before we go. Please ask, and those of you who are joining us over Zoom, you can unmute and just chime in as well.
Yeah, so this is our stream session doing together, but like between our lab, I'm going to do more like live streaming where I tackle the programming stuff, like developing the apps, so everything transparent on like a deep dive into how it stream sessions. So, but otherwise, stay tuned.
That's really important. You want to learn some Unity. You want to learn integration of Csound into Unity. Strongbear is the master, and him doing these other sessions, you're going to see what's going to happen is there might be a live collaboration like this where we're playing a little and I say, Strongbear, like for instance, you saw that timeline and it's beautiful. And we have one row for movements, one row for visuals. And so what I'm wanting is Strongbear to add maybe 2 or 3 rows for movements so that things can be ending and going away while other things are kind of emerging or coming in. I feel like I'm going to be able to build a more elegant flow of sound objects over time if I have at least one more row or two. So, 1 week strongbear might, take that idea of mine or an idea of yours and say, hey, a user said they'd really like this to work or that to work. And so strongbear has been tackling some of those problems already and sharing them. But we have a list, and we're continuing to improve this, every day, and add more to it, and just share it with you and play with it, and this is for you as much as it is the realization of both of our dreams of being able to play with sound. How do you play sound? Certainly not from a keyboard. Rust does not need middle C. It does not equate with middle C. It equates with right? So you need your body to play these sounds in some way, and that's what we're starting to enable. But I love that strongbear is really, you want to learn you want to build your own apps or even add to this one, become part of the development team, become part of the sound design team. We're going to help you become all of those things. I'm going to teach some Csound sessions and sound design sessions, some composing sessions, and strongbear is going to teach a lot of extra coding sessions. So, and some with two of us playing and discussing and answering your questions. So we're hoping to just do a lot of nice things for you and with you. Does that sound right?
Yep.
So do you want to go out or end right now? We have maybe a few more minutes. strongbear, by going and playing one of my Berkeley more rhythmic groovy jams, and you playing with some of the vocal effects, and me making some noise with some of the groovy chordal things.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, let's do it. So we're gonna say goodbye. Now, do I need to be connected to US? I'm not streaming anything, so I don't need to be that, right?
How about like this time we're gonna look from your view, your point of view. So you share your screen. Share your screen through Zoom, and then we'll switch to that view.
Okay.
People has been seeing from my view the whole time.
Well, I may have just ruined that, but let's see. I'll tell it to screencast right now. Stop and start. And hang on. We'll see if it's casting. Okay, it's casting. And you want me to, let's go back over there. You want me to say share. And you want me to, there's me scuba diving. In case you want to join me, any of you might be divers. We can talk about that sometime too. That was a couple of weeks ago in Key Largo, Florida. But we want to set up the share by saying share my casting only. And there I am. So I'm sharing right in the middle. And
Or should be able to see it, like your screen, your keyboard, like both keyboard.
right?
Your keyboard and the
My
organ.
station. And just as a tiny studio tour, I might turn and show you some of my synthesizers and instruments and some of my equipment. So there you go, a little peek, sneak peek at the studio. Now we want me to launch the program.
Yes. And on my side, Unity has just crashed, so I'm opening it. It would take a minute or two.
So should I launch, become the host, or should I?
Yeah, just go ahead, become a host, and you can start the playing.
Okay.
And I'll join you.
Okay.
As soon as Unity is open.
This underwater world, and let's pick. Waterfall under the stars. And so maybe you're seeing this world. And I'll just bring up a sound like mincer. I don't know if you can hear this on your side. Can you?
No, but it's okay. Like I'll be joining you and I'll be able to
I get
hear.
it. So we'll
soon.
hear as soon as you join. I love it.
There's a person say like you got a beautiful studio.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, we're going to have a studio tour later, and because, of course, a number of my modules have Csound inside, of course. Some of my students started the greatest companies. Andrew Eikenberry, Qubit, Jason Lim, and Struo, the Daisy, the 2HP line of products. That's all my students' companies, and many of them were inspired by or have Csound running under the hood. So that's very exciting. So tell me how you're doing with...
It keep crashing whenever I open it, so I think we've pushed my computer to the limit. So basically, I'm live streaming on like YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, Instagram. So like 5 or 6 streams at the same time, then Zoom, and then doing casting, and so I think we've pushed it to the limit.
So are you thinking we won't do this jam till later or till our next session?
Yeah, probably in the next session.
Okay, I'm back in pass-through mode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how beautiful it is when you can see the real world, the physical world. You can play with CsoundMeta, see the object in virtual, and you could later on like incorporate your hardware into this kind of software things. So
Absolutely. And oh, the other thing you weren't noticing, or you were noticing, but I'm glad you're seeing my screen. Do you notice I have these blue notepads that are hanging off of the mallets right now? So those are like reminders of what the controls might do to delete an object, save an object. So, you know, the UI, the user guide is waiting for you right there. But if I go to setup, I can also tell it to hide those, right? And so we can tell it to show and hide the controls. Or what was the command for that? Do I?
I think in the setup.
Yeah, but I think it might not be. Oh, there they are, shortcut keys. So now they're gone. So once I know everything, I can just have my 2 controls in front of me that I'm playing objects with and striking them and manipulating them. Also, as a side note here in the last minutes, you can change the size of the mallet heads. So you see how I've made this one bigger or smaller? So if you want to have more dramatic effect on the objects, or less dramatic effect by moving through an object that you're really distorting it or controlling it more dramatically, that's the way that you can do it. The other thing we didn't show you, but I'm going to show you now, even if you can't hear it, is the following. When I choose an instrument like an orb, which I've just done, you'll see that the orb is connected to a cable, and that cable is connected to a dialog box that lets me pick the sound. But also I can choose to make a palette here, or I can choose sound settings. So this is the most important thing, because you'll notice now what came up on my screen is my sound settings panel. And so this lets me trigger the sound, right? Or assign a controller to trigger a sound. So I can say, I want the right A button to trigger this sound. So if the sound is this drum sound, which I'm making larger so I can hear it, you can't right now, I could say, I want button A to trigger it, or maybe I want some other trigger or controller to trigger it. So I can assign any control on the controllers, any control, to any of the parameters in the Csound instrument. And I can scale them. I can tell them to re-trigger. I can tell them to trigger, in this case, the instrument has kicks and snares and glitches. So I can tell that I want the right trigger to trigger the kick, and I want the joystick to stop that, and etc. I can adjust the overall volume ranges. And that's just this instrument. Let me pick another instrument. I'll have it pick crackle. And so this crackle instrument, and let's go to the sound settings. Boom. So here's the sound settings for crackle. Let's get rid of that one. So here's crackle. And so again, transpose parameter, what's available in the instrument. This has delay, reverb, volume, transpose, duration, filtering, triggering. And by the way, if I want my filter setting, I'm going to show this in another section, but I want filter to morph based on the orb shape, or I want filter to change when I move my hand up or down. So I can save this as a new preset and call it, crackle hands or hand crackle or something, right? So there's that. Lastly, yeah. And so I've started to show you, at least here, how not only can you pick our presets, but from all of them, you can modify how you control them, how you play them, what happens when you hit them or sweep through them. And right now you see my little shortcut keys are gone. So when I do concerts, we don't leave the shortcut keys up, and we just kind of use our controls, push our buttons, and play the movements or the presets that are coming up. Let me again show you the menus. So you can see the menus include a setup menu where you can show the timeline or hide the timeline, show the shortcuts, hide the shortcuts, choose what the audio input is. You have multiplayer mode where you can become the host, stop the host, broadcast your IP so that others can join. You have instrument menu, which brings up an orb or a wanderer or a classic or live recording effects or our new live sampler. Some of these we didn't even have time to show you today, but we will show you in another group session. You have your worlds, where you can choose from any of my Blockade Labs generated immersive 3D skyboxes of Paris or London, or I'm in Paris, or maybe I'm in London over their cobblestone streets, or maybe I'm on a reef overlooking with a drone, and we can even put in our own images. So wouldn't you like to just be in my studio? Well, I'll have an image of my studio there for you, so when we're playing in my studio, we're all walking around my studio. Or maybe I just go in pass-through mode and we walk around my studio, right? That's the coolest thing of this app. However, let's continue. So that's our worlds that which you pick. Then we have our movements. And so these are just named by me, and basically you can determine, 2 world or 1 world or 4+1 world. And so, this is basically saying to me, I created this read-only movement and it's 2 world. And now if I go back and get out of pass-through, you'll see that I'm in a world and there may be just 2 sounds in this world. Let's look around. Where are they? There they are. Here's one, right? I'm looking back a little closer to you. Here's one of the sounds. So these are like my rehearsals. So this is like an industrial sound. And then where else is the other one? Where did I put it? There it is, way out there. I'll bring it back. Here it is. It was way down by the land. And so this has this kind of orb. And so a few of these sounds are kind of waiting for me that are going to run randomly, and I can fly anywhere in this world, or and some that we can play. And so this is how I start to compose, by creating movements that are named here, and then making a composition which bring up the timeline, put the movements on the timeline, and then start to think about that structure that way. And that was what Strongbear was showing you with the timeline that I can bring closer to me. Let me bring that timeline right in, nice and close, so I can see it, adjust it, put things in it, right, etc. So that's what's really done. And by the way, what you didn't notice was, let's go back. In movements, if I select, the clock, which I think means timeline. So if I say I want this 4 drum world and kick, well, guess what just showed up in my timeline for me to use? 4 drum world and kick. So I can place it, as an object, the very first object in the timeline, and boom, start my timeline, and guess what? That world shows up. This goes away. Here comes 4 drum world and kick. And it's what you're not hearing is some nice drums and grooves, and I'm on this planet because that's the world I set up. If I don't want that world, or maybe I want to move it later, boom, I just place it in another time slot. Let's pause for now. And that's how you start to build the piece, or I kind of delete. So I'm going to go back to world, go back to pass through. I'm going to essentially remove all my objects that are playing right now. I'm going to take off my headset and end the casting. And we've got 5 minutes left to this session. So I think Strongbear and I want to go back and get ready to say goodbye to you. But so Strongbear, I'll stop my casting, stop sharing at least, and come back for us to basically end our first collaboration. But I got to show you, hopefully, a few of those other little features. Okay?
Awesome.
Anyone have any questions or thoughts or whatever? You can certainly say hi and bye as well. And I want to remind you about Thursday and Friday, where we're going to install it on yours, and you're going to actually be able to join me at the end of one of those days and play with me in my studio.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for this demonstration. And it's extremely flexible, right?
Yep.
Which is very cool. So hope to see more of this. All right.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for being here. And I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to jamming with you. Now,
Yeah.
Dave and I have jammed together and played some of the most wonderful music in concert at Berkeley with our colleague, Dr. Jeff Baust. And man,
Right.
that was so much fun, and we made such great music. But now we can do it again just from our own studios, and we can jam in the metaverse.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to have to grab a headset, but I think I'm just going to order today, and
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
Wow.
And what I'm telling you is the 3 is so much better, but Strongbear will tell you about the 3S because he has a 3S.
Yeah.
And I'll be getting a 3S, hopefully even setting one up on Friday, because I like to have the same setup as Strongbear. But Strongbear, you've played the 3 and the 3S.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So between the 3S, if you go for the best screen resolution, the highest image quality, then the 3 is one to go. But like if you prefer like a version more like cheaper, affordable, but it works well under low light. I mean in the completely dark, then the 3S is the one to go. Yeah.
Okay.
They're both great. They're
Yeah.
both great. So,
Yeah.
you'll see.
Is it like $500 or something for
It's like that for the 3. Yeah, and like I said, the 3, you won't believe how clear it is. No headaches. You're gonna love just leaving your glasses on, throwing it on, and working,
Right.
and being able to see in pass-through mode and type in your keyboard. It's crazy how comfortable it is. No
Yeah.
headaches. I mean, I like the
Yeah,
3.
Yeah, it's worth it though. I mean, I bought hardware that was like way more than that. So,
I
Yeah. So
I really
Yeah.
think it's worth it, Dave. But I don't know that you need to get one with extra memory. You know what I mean? More memory,
Right.
because you can load and unload things from it very quickly. So I would say you know, and as a side note, I think I have 4 threes. I have a pro, you know, because I want to have a quartet that can.
Right.
So I'm deeply invested, and I've had a lot of Quest 2s because they were cool, but there's just no comparison. No comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like the right one to get.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, the 3S strongbear, what he was telling you that's a bonus feature of the 3S is that they do low light infrared sensing that's pretty remarkable. But for the
Right.
threes, you can buy a little IR whatever, and then you can work with the lights off. But you know, let me tell you this extra cool thing in the last minute. You can program the 3 outdoors. Whereas I'm sitting with my wife beside me outside at the picnic table making sounds. And, well, what do you think, hon? I'm in pass-through mode. I'm looking at the grass and the trees but you know, it's amazing. So you can actually work with these and play them anywhere. Strongbear and I, with his children, jammed in a park over by Jeff Baus' house. And you know, we were just throwing the orbs into the ocean and into the trees, and it was something.
Yeah.
Hey, one quick thing. You guys did cut out for about 15 seconds twice while I was, you know, watching on YouTube, and otherwise the audio was great. So I don't know if you're aware of that but yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Like,
Okay.
yeah, but we gotta keep the show going, you know.
Right. No big deal. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It comes with the territory.
Yeah. So like today, I noticed like my computer has been pushed to the limit. So
Right. We were just experimenting with silence, which is a powerful part not.
Well,
Yes.
I have created a few worlds, one that's black and one that's white, for just that reason too. That you know, those were not made by Blockade Labs. Those were.
Right.
Well,
Well,
Dave,
great.
I'm so happy you're here, and I hope to see you on Thursday or Friday, and we'll go a little bit further then too. And
Yeah.
I
And
think
and
it's
when is the Thursday? What time is Thursday?
same
Thing.
12. It's in the email, but it's from 12
Okay.
to
Good.
2. And
Yeah.
you'll see it in a few announcements too. I'll probably put an
Right.
announcement in Facebook.
Cool. All right.
yeah.
Take care.
Thanks, Dave, for joining us, and thanks for teaching me. Like, I think it's EP 225, 220 or something. The very
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, needless to say, you were an amazing student because you already had incredible chops. So, but I like seeing that drum kit there and your studio there. So, you know,
Yeah. Thank
always
you.
good to, yeah, always good to have the physical stuff too.
Yep.
So,
So we built this like a mixed reality, so you could still use your traditional
that's right.
instrument
Yeah.
together with this like virtual things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Goodbye, everyone on the Zoom. And I think we're about to say goodbye. Are we about to say
Thank you
goodbye?
very much.
Yeah.
Tyler, we finally got you going. So now
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
see
be there
you.
on Thursday.
Great. And we'll get the thing installed, and that'll be heaven.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Like, please join the Discord, and then we'll talk on there.
Sounds great.
Good.
Awesome.
And Art, on Thursday, I'll be playing some of your music too, okay? We'll jam
All
over
right.
that.
Have enjoyed it as much as I've heard of it today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Great seeing you. Take care.
Stop.